Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. You can also find me at the Wise Take Nation. Just chopping shit up all day long. We got two very special guests with us. I'm going to start with the man you guys know, and that's Johnny the Greek. Better known across the nation as Johnny the Freak. You can find him on Twitter and on DraftKings, murking that ass at GDaddy80. Johnny, last year you won over 150K in 1 week. In 1 week. I think you finished, what, 9th or 7th in the Millie Maker? Was it 9th that day? Right. You took, yeah. That wasn't even, like, that's the thing. He finished 9th in the Millie Maker, and that wasn't even where most of the money came from. And like that contest selection. Right. Contest selection, all that good shit. That's what you're gonna find on wisetake.com. But anyway, Johnny, this year, from 9th to 1st. Am I right? From 9th to 1st this year. Am I right?
Sure. You know, my plan is to win it. You know, every year. I max enter this thing, and I'm getting closer to it. And I figured out a strategy last year. I kept getting closer and closer and closer, and then ninth was the highest I ended up finishing in it. But this year, it's going for first. I made one bad pivot last year that cost me about $2 million that day.
Oh,
that's what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But Johnny, yes, Johnny won 150K, over 100K in 1 week last year. So we know Johnny's super excited to be here. Glad to have you aboard, Johnny, for this entire football season. You joined us about halfway through last year, so it's nice to have you for a full one as we get things rolling. But you and I are both joined by a man making his debut, longtime member of the Wise Take Nation. First time doing a podcast with us, man. We're very excited to bring him on. My man knows football in and out. Played football. You could tell by the look on his face. This man played a lot of football. You see that stupid that's all up in there? That's from football right there. That's called concussions right there. I'm just kidding.
That is from football. No, that is from concussion. That's going to be the start of this tonight. You're going to see me stuttering, looking slow, pointing shit over here. And it is from the concussions because I played longer than I should have because I loved it, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I got hauled up a couple times, got in a little trouble, this and that. So I had to restart here and there, but I always found a way to keep playing and do a little coaching after that. And like, I love watching tape on football. Like, that gets me excited, man. You know, as the season progresses, I'm going to progress because I'm watching every game. I'm not 4 hours long, but, you know, the breakdown, small version, 40, 45. Right. I'm really, really excited about this season. So
awesome, man.
See where it goes. I'm well in the research already. Teams broken down, so see what happens in preseason.
I can tell you're pumped up. I can tell you're pumped up because the people who are listening right now don't even realize this is BroseBear, baby. BroseBear. You can find him on Twitter at BroseBear79 and no spaces or underscores. He don't do that. Just BroseBear. That is who.
I don't even know what an underscore is, baby.
It's all good. You see, you don't even know. He don't gotta know. All he knows is X's and O's. All he knows is X's and O's.
That's it.
Yes. We're super excited to have you aboard, man. We really think you're going to be a great addition to the Wise Take Nation. I mean, you always were. You've been a member forever, so you were one of our first ones. So, like, you know, obviously, you've been a big part of it, big personality. But you're here for your football knowledge, man. That's exactly why you're here.
I'm here for the football. Hide a little bit of the personality. Make sure we don't get kicked off air or fined or anything. So
yeah.
Dumb it down a little.
A little bit, but if you want to see the real bros, just make sure you're a subscriber because there's no holds barred on the Y streams. So when we start to do the Y streams and regular season comes, we might be able to unleash bros a little bit. We'll take that leash off a little bit and then take off the chains. We'll have to see. I'm a little afraid to see what that entails, but at the same time, I'm kind of excited. So.
And I know I'm afraid because I got Twitter messages from bros. I know.
Yes. All right, guys. So, real quick before we get started, this is obviously we're going to be covering NFL Preseason Week 2 or Friday slate. So it is currently Thursday night at about 11:35 p.m. on the East Coast, which means it's still pretty early for Johnny. This is the one situation where being on the West Coast works out for DFS. Johnny's podcasts are not at 11:30 at night. Anyway, guys, before we get started, Johnny, I want you first to tell us, like, I want you to tell us as far as edge, right? Preseason. How is playing preseason different from playing like regular NFL season from a DFS perspective specifically?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of edges, and every week is a little bit different. But the main part of it is its news is not very evident out there. It's really hard to find. You have to kind of do some searching and locating and stuff like that. A lot of teams don't really release that much information out there. There's really no serious injury report. You don't know if somebody's not going to play. You don't know. You have none of that information. It's very common to get zeros in a lineup, but as long as you pick the right players, that will come up. You'll be fine. The edge really is, and a lot of guys don't follow this, and they're going to play their favorite players, but they might not get playing time. This week 2 that we're coming into is a week where you're going to see some starters getting to play, but following who's going to get the most play is obviously optimal for your lineup. So we do have some news that we know about, and we have some news that we don't know about, and we're going to get there, and we're going to talk about it. But the key of it is playing the right players in the right spots. Last week in preseason, it was like finding the diamonds in the rough, and that's the same thing that you're going to get in week 5. But this week is not necessarily that situation because we do have some good information. It's more about playing the chalk that we're going to talk about and finding those players that aren't chalky and pairing them with them and them hopefully having big games. So this week is a very clear-cut game week for me, and we had something very similar to it last week, and we'll talk about that and we'll get there, but don't want to release everything yet. But it's just week 2, 3, and 4 are very close, and then week 5 is going to be our wild card week, just like week 1, where these deep darts are looking for either trying to find on the team if they get cut, if they don't make the roster, or trying to make a practice squad somewhere. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But 2, 3, and 4, then next 3 weeks, pretty good weeks for us to look at, and the edge is just in listening to our show and following where we're going.
Boom. I like it, man. I'm excited. I know Bros is excited. Johnny, I know you're obviously excited. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump right into this, starting off with this first game. The New York Giants, the New York football Giants, visiting the Detroit Lions. Looks like a total for this game is currently 40. Detroit is favored by 3 points at home. Brosy, we're going to start this off with you, man. Give me a little breakdown of this game and tell me a little bit about what you maybe what the nation could potentially expect.
A little breakdown. The Giants suck. Last year, passing efficiency 22nd, pass blocking 22nd, pass coverage they were down there too. The pass rush was bad. They're just horrible on defense. My apologies. Those are the concussions kicking in. So Patricia came in as the new coach for Detroit this year. He wants to implement a bit more of the run game and defense. So they brought Blunt in. They got Kerryon Johnson, who I'm so excited about this kid. He has looked great in practice, and it's paying off. The Giants are changing their defense up to the 3-4. It's going to be more of a nickel 60% of the time. They had the problem with the tight end last year. They were just getting scorched by tight ends all over the place. So the idea is linebacker will be able to help out with that, and they can change the blitz up. So you're going to see a good bit of them messing around with that. And I think the Lions are going to be able to take advantage of that. So that's what I'm looking for tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Johnny, my man, from a DFS perspective, what do you see? What do you know? What are you waiting for on this game?
Yeah, so the one thing that we did touch on here was that these teams actually were scrimmaging against each other all week in practice. So they've got a lot to see of each other. They actually had a pretty clean practice. They only had a couple scuffles, but no major fights or anything like that, no major injuries. The one person that we know is not going to play in this game is going to be Odell Beckham. He won't be cleared until September 7th, right before the preseason starts. He's practicing, but he's not able to be. He's not in full practice mode, so we know he won't be a full go here, so he won't be playing. Coach Patricia just basically said, when I looked up everything, he's basically saying that his team is ready to go. And he's like, and what that means is that if I'm going to, during the game, I'm going to pick how much I want everybody to play. So there's no clear direction we have right now of where he's going to go. I'm sure we'll have some clarification tomorrow morning, afternoonish before this game. But as of right now, we don't have that. So that kind of pushes me towards like thinking that they're probably going to play first quarter. The starter's probably going to play first quarter, maybe into the second quarter. You got to kind of look there. So if you like the Lions set up against the Giants, which I think are in a good spot here because Giants aren't that great, I think you can look at some of the starters here. For me, though, like where I'm looking for this team to give me some value. And the guys I really like here, and everybody's cheap. Everybody's the same price. So when I mean value, I don't mean dollar-wise. I mean value meaning playing time. And I'm looking at Chase Billingsley over on Detroit. It was a good pickup for them this year, draft pick. They really like him this year in preseason. They like what he's performing. He did get 2 passes, and he did catch both of them for only 10 yards in the game one this year, preseason. But I look for him getting a little bit more production because they want to get him more involved. They want to get him, more acclimated to the team. And the other guy that looks pretty good here is Theo Redding. He had one reception. He had 2 targets, 8 yards. Nothing crazy, but this guy's a super talented guy as well. I really like both these wide receivers. So that's kind of where I would go here. I don't think I'm going to look at any of these big guys here on this team like Golden Tate or anything like that. I think I'm going to take some shots on some of these other players. And then on the Giants, the guys I'm really looking at, is going to be Barkley. I think the Giants are going to do the same kind of thing. Most teams are going to play their starters a quarter and a half, maybe 2 quarters. But Barkley looking really good. I really like him. Number one, he was there, the Giants' number 1 pick this year, so I really like that. I'm not really interested in any of these receivers that have been there for a while. The one guy I'm looking at is Wayne Gellman. Young guy, rookie here. He had 6 targets, 4 catches, 33 yards, and he was also involved in the run game. He only got 5 yards, but it was 3 touches. So you're getting nine touches from a rookie. It's pretty good. I think he's going to be heavily involved. He's already assured to be on the team, and he's probably going to start this game, maybe come off the bench, but he won't be a starter for the whole year because of when Beckham comes back, he's going to move to the bench. So I do like him, though. I think he's going to get some playing time. I think they want to see what they have with him, on the second unit at least. So look for him to have a good game here. That's really it for me here. I think if you want to attack a defense here, I don't like the Giants. I think that the Detroit Lions are a decent defense to attack against the Giants. I don't think the Giants are going to go crazy here in points. So if you want to go ahead and attack the Lions, you can do that. Not my favorite defense, though.
All right, interesting. Bros, I got a question for you, my man. I want to know, last year, so I'm, obviously the preseason is usually what I take to judge, but I know you've gotten a head start in some of the research. Last year, the Giants were like the nut worst team against tight ends. Tight ends would just go in there and torch them. It just so happens that in week 1 of the preseason, Njoku, I can never get his name right, of the Browns, who is obviously a young, talented kid, had a pretty big game in the first preseason meeting. In your opinion, bros, was that more just Njoku is just good, or was that the Giants are going to struggle again this year against the tight end?
Okay, first of all, Njoku, I had him in my lineups, and I thought, no, I'm taking off. Oh, my God, it killed me. But I think it's the fact that the Giants are still setting up this new defense. So it's going to take a minute. Like when you're bringing in, this is preseason. So you got guys getting acclimated with the team. You got a new scheme, running a 3-4 is totally different. And I think we're going to see it get better. It might take a couple weeks. I think they should have that ironed out by preseason, though. It's going to be totally different than who would have been covering the linebacker last year. And the tight end. I'm thinking linebacker coming down on the tight end. But that's one thing I wanted to say about the Giants. The Giants could could be an outside sleeper to make it into the playoffs, but it's going to come down to their defensive backfield. They do have the talent there, but they also could get decimated. They got talent sprinkled all over that defensive team. So that could, if the D-backs do good with the Giants this year, the Giants could sneak into the playoffs. But again, they could be a total dumpster fire as well.
Interesting. All right, moving on to the next. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs visiting the Atlanta Falcons. Total here currently 39.5. Atlanta +1. Home underdogs. Looks like they opened up as the favorites, but it looks like they are home underdogs at this point. Brosey, break down the game for me. What do you expect to see a little bit? Tell us a little bit about these teams, some of the changes they made,
I expect to see a really good. This is going to be fun tomorrow. We all seen Atlanta get the crap kicked out of them by the Jets last week. Atlanta's Super Bowl or bust this year. If they don't get to the Super Bowl, this season was a total waste. Kind of was like that for them last year, but even more so this year. I got them ranked, offensive line ranked number 8. It could go up. They brought in a veteran to help make it a little bit better. Interesting stat for Atlanta last year. On third downs, their wide receivers dropped the most passes in the NFL. So we're talking good throws by Matt Ryan that were dropped on third down. I mean, that's game-changing shit right there alone. Also, their defense could very easily sneak into the top 10. Ito Smith and Crawford blew last week. I don't know how much we'll see of them tomorrow for backup running backs. I know Ito Smith was a big one that a lot of us had last week, and he let it down big time. And, of course, everybody wants to see Ridley and Jones out there, so we'll see what happens. Kansas City, their defense really sucks. They get Barry back. We'll see how well he does. They brought in Crawford at corner. Their linebacking core is just horrible. They do have a good pass rush, and what everybody's excited about, I'm on the fence with Mahomes. I'm not saying he stinks, but I'm not saying he's good yet. This offense could be seriously explosive. I don't know how much of Hines we're going to see tomorrow, but I think Hines and obviously Kelce, who's only behind Gronk in the NFL for tight ends, those two are going to benefit the most. But I'm thinking Hines is going to be one of my favorite on the year. And we all know Hill is a great speed down the field. Spencer Ware, he's no stud or anything, but he actually has really good rating for catching the ball out of the backfield. I have him at number 11 with actual rating. So I expect to see a high-scoring game tomorrow. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff going on.
CK mute.
Still muted. My bad. Button didn't work. Awesome stuff, Brosy. Johnny, give us the DFS perspective. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, so
we're waiting for news. What are we looking for?
Yeah, so the Chiefs, Andy Reid announced yesterday that his starters were going to play at least the full half, which is good news, which now makes them chalky. And this is why the total went up here. Getting a whole half of first-team offense that was pretty good last year, and now a little bit improved with some acquisitions they've made. It's a pretty good move here. So Patrick Mahomes is in a great spot tomorrow. Probably going to be one of the chalky quarterbacks. Tyreek Hill. We got Hunt here. He's in play. Kelsey's in play. Kelsey's probably going to be the highest owned tight end. Hunt's probably going to be one of the highest owned running backs, and for good reason. I do have some concerns here with these plays here. Now, Tyreek Hill, he's a big downfield threat, and I think he'll be fine in this game. But you got to be really careful with this offense because Mahomes is the guy that will run the ball. And, I think out of the offense, the guy who's going to definitely get the most out of this improved quarterback play is going to be Kelsey. Kelsey's going to probably be the glue for Mahomes this year, especially being a young guy. Yeah. Kansas City's offensive line, not so good last year. He's probably going to do a lot of dump-off passes to him this year and even to Hunt. So I really like their offense. This week I think they're in a great spot. Again, they're going to be chalky, but I think it's good chalk. And if you want to get some guys that are going to be a little bit further down there but in great spots here, you want to look at Damon Williams. He's a good running back here. He had 7 touches, 5 out of the backfield, 2 receptions last week. And with Ware and West hurt, he's going to be the first guy off the bench. I like him tomorrow. And then Demarcus Robinson, receiver, I actually prefer him over Hill tomorrow. I think he's going to get more touches. I think he's going to get more use. He caught 3 balls out of 4, 48 yards and a touchdown in his last game, last preseason game. So I really like him. I think he's in a great spot. When it comes to Atlanta, they have a lot of decisions to make here. They're not even sure if Julio is going to play this game. They want to keep him healthy. Last year Julio was playing almost all year injured. A lot of reason why the passes were dropped. So that's definitely an issue. The guys you really want to look out for here are Dantes Bird, I should say. The coaching staff really likes this guy. He looks really good, and in training camp he's done really well. And then everybody knows about Calvin Ridley. He was a high pick, top prospect. He's definitely in play. And one of the better tight ends here, right under Kelsey right now in my player pool is Eric Saubert. I really like him. He had 2 targets last week, caught both of them for 15 yards. I think he's in play. You also have Hooper here. I just don't know exactly how much the starters are going to play. But Austin Hooper, if he's going to get at least a quarter, makes him for a decent play. But how can you not want to play Kelsey with 2 quarters? It doesn't make any sense. So I really like the Chiefs. I think they're the top offense right now to look at production-wise, just because of their spot they're in. And I think this game is going to be a high-scoring game.
Interesting. So you both think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. It's any interest at all? I know this is going to sound wacky because you're obviously both interested in the offenses if you think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Patrick Mahomes, he is a rookie. He comes from, Texas Tech, where they had a very, very fast-paced back and forth, a lot of throwing, but also, it's kind of like Coors Field in baseball. That also means that his numbers were inflated. When you come from one of those divisions, from one of those teams that's all they do is air raid, and the scores are like 50-50. Your stats are going to be a little bit inflated. Do you think they are aggressive with Mahomes out the gate and kind of let him get comfortable into that air raid zone, or do you think they're going to play a little more conservative, being that he is young and this is Andy Reid's team after all? BroseBear, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to depend on what Atlanta puts out there, how long they put their defense out there, and they should play a good amount, I think. But regardless, with Kelce over the middle, and even their second, third string running backs can catch good out of the backfield, I think that's going to help Mahomes go. He's probably going to be eager to run, but he played preseason last year. He played week 17 last year. So, I think he's going to – I don't know about coming out of the gate, but I think he's going to fly tomorrow.
Okay. Johnny, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, this team is a screen team. Andy Reid throws more screens out there than any other team in football. He's gonna throw his running backs out there in screen formations, tight end, receivers. So, they're not a down the field kind of deep pass team. They're definitely a screen team. So, I think that this is a full go. I don't think they're going to hold him back at all. As Bros said, that week 17 last year, he was a full go. He had a good week, and then he looked really good in the preseason last year. That's why they decided to get rid of Smith. Yeah, and that's why they got rid of Smith, was how good he looked.
That was one of the things that made me fall in love with preseason. Last year was making money. I made good money off of Mahomes. Hey, another thing too, if Kansas City's offensive line can stay healthy, I got them at number 12 right now, offensive line, going into the year. And that's going to make a big difference. Like Johnny said, they run a lot of screens.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills visiting the Cleveland Browns, the Hard Knocks Cleveland Browns. This team is definitely gaining some traction. You can feel it. There's a lot of people really. Everybody always kind of pulls for the Browns because of how bad they are, but I feel like people are really, really pulling for them. They got Tyrod Taylor down there, and they got Juice, who I never knew they called him Juice, but Landry, who was. I think people are realizing finally how good that guy actually is. In Miami, I think he was very underrated over there with Tannehill. Anyway, Bills and Browns, total is 40.5. Went up from 37.5. Cleveland is -3.5. Brosy, kicking it to you first. What can you tell us about this game from a football perspective?
Just real quick, I wanted to back up on Landry. I knew he wasn't coming to Pittsburgh, but so bad I wanted Landry. That's my kind of player. He hits people, he blocks, and dude makes grabs. Like, Cleveland is freaking stacked at wide receiver. And hey, like, I'm a Pittsburgh fan, but like, I don't get jealous over Cleveland because it's Cleveland. They're 2.5 hours away, and they look great. They look so great. But I don't trust Cleveland not to F this up. All right, a perfect example right here. What's his name? Galloway got in trouble, and coach said he was going to punish him, and his punishment was playing the whole game. Like, I don't know what kind of punishment that is, like, unless a dude is just lazy, which that doesn't make sense. If he's lazy, you trade him to the Bills, and that's Coleman. Coleman was supposed to be something great. He got traded to the Bills. He's never done anything because he is lazy. That's why he's over there. Yeah, there's the depth for Cleveland. The Bills are an absolute mess. You got LaShawn McCoy, who still got it. Who knows how much he's going to play. And Ivory is his backup. You got Father Time and Father Time's dad playing running backs for the Buffalo Bills. Their offensive line is an absolute mess. And that seems to be the theme for tonight, like absolute mess for offensive line. But this one might be the worst. And quarterback, like, come on. Peterman actually did look pretty good last week, but it's still Peterman, and it's still the Bills. And what's his name? Allen. Allen looked like complete garbage. I don't know if anybody expected anything different. I mean, he's like a big dumb dog. So we'll see if maybe they can teach him a couple tricks. But it's going to take a year or two before he can learn a couple tricks. Cleveland, however, Baker Mayfield. Oh, man, I was excited when Cleveland got this guy because I hate this kid. But I got to admit, he looked good. He looked good. He looked like a pro. He was making reads. He was standing in the pocket, steady. I mean, the kid had good nerves. Like, I got to admit, I'm a fan right now. The kid looked good. All of Cleveland's looked good. Njoku, how can you not be a fan? That dude is a beast. Like, I love to see a big tight end just romping down the field, busting over people. So I'm excited about this game. Cleveland's defense could surprise some people this year. I called it last week before the preseason game kicked off. I figured they'd come out fired up. We'll see. I think they'll finish at least middle of the pack. Their O-line's been good for a couple years. I got them ranked number 13 right now. Their safeties are really bad. That's Cleveland's weak port on the defense. Duke Johnson. I like Duke Johnson. He's had a lot of talent. Obviously, it just didn't grow overnight, but I think he's been a quiet secret for the last couple of years, and now there's somebody to throw to him, some players around him. They brought Chubbs in. We'll see whatever with him and Carlos Hyde, but Duke Johnson, that dude can really do it all. Talk about catching out of the backfield. He played some receiver last year as well. I think he lined up in the slot. But what else are you going to say about the Bills? They're absolute trash. Cleveland should stomp them. I mean, yeah, it's preseason, but seriously, that's what I got on it.
All right, fair enough. Love the passion, Brosy. I do. Freak mode. What are your thoughts here, man? Pretty high total in comparison to
so we're gonna start with
games.
we're gonna start here with the Bills. So, the Bills, this is a true three-headed competition still. Coach has come out and said that he doesn't know who he's gonna go with. They're all gonna get share time in preseason. It's just a mess. Picking a quarterback out of this carousel is a mess. Allen did get the most snaps last week, if that makes any difference for anybody here. But I don't really want any of these quarterbacks. It's really a mess there. You got Calvin Benjamin. You got a bunch of old wide receivers here, or a bunch of wide receivers that are just deep. I mean, you got Zay Jones. Like, who are you going to go with here? There's just too many guys to pick from. I don't want anybody that's going to start here. I think they're going to play probably a quarter and a half. But if I'm going to go anywhere, it's going to be with the young guys. The only two guys that I have any probably have any ownership in tomorrow is going to be Marcus Murphy. He's a running back, but he's a running back that can catch. He had actually 11 touches last game. 7 were running. He went 7 for 35 yards with a touchdown, and then he went 4 passes, 4 completions for 30 yards. I really like him. He's a difference maker. I think he's a good player. And then you got Ray McLeod here. He went 3 receptions. He had 4 passes thrown to him. 30 yards and a touchdown. Those are the only two guys I'm looking at here for the Bills. There's no clarity with the quarterback situation. You would think now by week 2 they'd already have like the top dog, but they don't. It's a 3-headed monster. I don't want to go anywhere here. On the Browns, Tyrod Taylor, not a bad quarterback. He's mobile. He can run. He can do all this stuff. He's going to be starting this year. I like him a little bit. He had a good game first game out. Like him a little bit here. Just kind of worried about how much they're going to play him because I know they want to develop Baker Mayfield. So I think that he's going to get about a quarter here, which is fine. I don't want to go to any of these receivers that have been here for a while. I'm all looking at the young guys. And this coaching staff here really likes the 3 young receivers with Rashard Higgins, Antonio Callaway, and David Njoku. All 3 of those guys performed really well in the first week. So I can see them doing the same thing here. Bunch of good receivers. And if I was going to take any kind of stabs at anybody here in the running game, it would be Matt Days. He was the second guy in here, and then Nick Chubb. Those are the 2 guys I would look for in the running game. I don't think we're going to need to go there on the slate because we have some really good options at the top. But if you need a couple deeper plays, definitely go there. The one thing I have to say about Duke Johnson is this is his time. He's been here for a while now, and they've given this his job as a starter. They've given him this job. If he can't produce this year, he's out. So he has a lot of motivation to play for this year. I can see this year being a breakout year for him, just knowing that.
Yeah, definitely the Browns. Definitely a lot of buzz for him. Let me ask you guys a question. So I'm assuming so far, based off what we know, obviously we know Kansas City. We know that Andy Reid's already said his guys play in the first half, right? So we know that means Mahomes is going to play at least one full half. We also have Cleveland next. We got Baker Mayfield, who was pretty popular last week. I'm sure will be relatively popular again. But we don't have as clear a picture of how much he's going to play. Let me ask, my question to you is, if you take ownership out of the equation, these are the 2 most popular quarterbacks, who do you lean? Just assume that they're each going to get a half. Who do you lean? Brosey, I'm going to start with you first. Who do you think's in a better position, assuming, let's just say, I know it's a little different because Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting for Cleveland. So if he plays a full half, then Baker Mayfield's going to get the second half, which could be a better thing because that means he's going to get, you're talking like a horrible defense. So
you're talking garbage is garbage.
Right. So I guess that has answered my own question then, in a sense. But let me hear your breakdown anyway.
Mahomes has the tougher matchup if Atlanta puts their defense out there. I mean, he's got better weapons, but not by much. I mean, shit, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Browns' weapons are looking half decent. Even second half Browns' weapons are still going to look pretty good. Wow, I'm actually saying that. Yeah, I am. The Browns just have a better matchup, and they're going to want to see as much as they can out of Baker Mayfield. So I'm going to lean more on Kansas City plays, but Mayfield's going to be chalk. Mahomes is going to be chalk. That's a tough question. I'm probably going to go. Damn, that's tough. I'd probably go with Mayfield. I think it's a safer play. I don't know. That's tough.
All right, Johnny, what are your thoughts, man?
Oh yeah, I'm completely on the other side. No, by no means. It's Mahomes. And here's why. Mahomes is a mobile quarterback. Like he's gonna get you. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's gonna be able to get your run.
Good point.
He's gonna be able to get your pass. There's just no comparison. You're gonna get the second half of an elite quarterback that's already proven that he can play in this level. So I'm not worried about this. I mean, this guy beat out a starter from a team that made the playoffs last year and was highly seeded, and they got rid of him to play this kid. So there's no way I'm going to play Baker Mayfield over him. I actually played Tyrod Taylor over Baker Mayfield, and this is why. Baker Mayfield played last game. He played majority of it. Cleveland is trying to figure out who they're going to make cuts with. They want to see the third string quarterback. I can see Baker Mayfield getting less time than Tyrod Taylor and less time than the third string quarterback. They saw what they can get out of him last week. I don't think he's going to be that great of a play this week. For me, I'm fading him completely.
Interesting.
Okay. How much time do you see Tyrod Taylor getting?
At least a quarter and a half.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting perspectives. Who do you think is going to be more popular, Mahomes or Mayfield? Mahomes because he's starting?
Mahomes. Mahomes is going to be 80% owned tomorrow.
Wow.
See, you don't think a lot of people are going to ride Baker after last week? Because he was chalk last week just because of his name alone. I mean, you make a good point, and I'm sold on fading him.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't check that much in preseason. You just got guys itching to play.
Yeah, here's why. I want to find a reason to fade Mahomes because he's going to be so highly owned.
Right.
When the information's out there right now for 2 days now, by tomorrow it'll be 2 days.
Yeah,
that the Chiefs are going to play.
Good point.
The news is out there. Like most of the people that play chalk, they listen to plays. They listen to people. They're watching the show. They know that Kansas
that's
City.
true. Very true.
There's just no chance. He's going to be chalk. He's going to be highly owned, just like he was last year. I can't find a reason to get off of him right now, though. That's the problem.
Fair enough. On to the next game. We got the Miami Dolphins visiting the Carolina Panthers. Total here is 43. Carolina -3 at home. Man, Miami without Landry. Brosey, what have they done since losing Landry? Have they done anything? Could we expect anything better from Miami in general?
No, Miami's done a lot. They lost Pouncey, so they lost their All-Pro center. He went bye-bye. I hear people saying, "Oh, Miami has an outside shot." An outside shot at what? Winning more than 3 games? I don't even see that happening. Every year, like once in a while, they'll do something. Miami sucks. They suck. They suck. They suck. I know that seems to be the theme tonight, but offensive line in shambles. They got a couple defensive players here and there, but their depth chart is just complete garbage. It starts with ownership. Players want to play down in Miami. That's where they all go in the offseason. But everybody knows Miami ownership sucks. The coach is all right, but I don't see them doing anything. Okay, here's the problem. You got one of the problems. You got Gore. I almost said Al Gore. So you got Gore. He's actually challenging, supposedly, Drake for the starting job. And Drake's not bad. He's decent, but I see him regressing a little bit this year. And, Tannehill, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's doing short passes. So if Miami's behind all the time, which they're going to be, he's going to have to be so accurate to make a drive down the field, get into the end zone. But he's not even going to be able to stay healthy because they have no damn offensive line. It's Amendola, Albert Wilson, Carrero. Who the hell's Carrero? Are fighting for the third job. They drafted 2 tight ends in the draft this year. Like, who does that shit? Actually, Mike Gesicki, I actually like that kid a lot as a tight end. He could do something in DFS this year with the way Miami's set up. Carolina, their offensive line might actually been the worst last year at pass protection. They gave up so many damn sacks. Their tackles alone gave up 11 sacks. They did bring in some young guys to try to step it up. I don't know if I see that happen. I'm really excited about DJ Moore. Stretches the field. It's got great vertical. Like Johnny was saying earlier, he's down the depth chart. I could see him moving up, though, the depth chart halfway through the season. That would help out Funches, a little white boy running back that catches. It's going to open up the middle of the field. And Curtis Samuels, I'm excited about him this year in the slot. And they got 2 young guys battling over position in the defensive backfield. That's about all I got for this game.
All right. Johnny, what do you think here? I think you're on the mute.
They took the mute off there.
There you go. You pulled the CK, bro.
I was looking up at the screen. Am I on mute? So the things we have to look out for is, the battle here with Drake. Kenyon Drake, they kept him. They got rid of Damian Williams. Damian Williams went over to Kansas City, just made Kansas City's running game even deeper. I mean, they got a guy that started there last year over in Miami. Now they got a guy over there. So it just gives another reason for Kansas City's, why they're so good this week. You look at Miami with Kenyon Drake. He's okay. He's a speedster. He's just not. I don't think he's durable enough. We saw him have some big weeks last year, but I just don't know if he's a every down back, 16-week back. I don't think he can handle the load. Gore. I don't think Gore's a thing. I don't think Gore is going to end up winning this job. I think the guy that's got the outside chance of getting number 2 is this guy Balaj.
Balaj.
Last week, yeah, kid looked real good last week. I definitely think he's got an outside shot. The problem with him is he's in the concussion protocol right now. So I don't know if he's going to be cleared to play by tomorrow, but we'll see. If not, the guys you want to really look at, if you're not looking at the starters, is Perry in the backfield. He's the guy you really want. He will be the spell back here for Drake. He'll be the second guy in. He looked pretty good last week. 3 touches, 34 yards, a touchdown. I like him. He in deeper plays, like a deeper flyer play. I have no interest in the quarterback play here at all. The receivers, the core is a mess here. There's just too many guys that do the same thing. That's kind of why they got rid of Landry. Like they had Landry, they had Stills, they had Parker, they had all these guys that just did the same thing. I think getting rid of Landry was a big mistake. I think they should got rid of one of the other guys, but it is what it is. No real interest in Miami. When we look at the Panthers, ton of options here for the Panthers. Panthers, great opportunity here. McCaffrey, Coach Rivera here loves McCaffrey. He said that he's looking at giving him 24 to 30 touches this year, which is a lot. We know break him. They're gonna. I know, but we know that the offensive line here is much improved, which is really good for that fact. DJ Moore, he's a guy I like a lot. Last week he had a big game, and then Curtis Samuels. A lot of people don't remember him, but last year we played him in DFS. I think it was like week 13. He was in for somebody who was injured, and he had he was supposed to be this have a big game for us, and he had a big game I think the week before. Didn't have such a big game, but he was only 3K. But he's a very talented receiver. This is a guy you want to look out for in this matchup here. I think the Panthers are going to play at least a quarter, maybe a half of the starters. But DJ Moore, Curtis Samuels, definitely both guys that are going to get a lot of action tomorrow. Moore is buried kind of down on that depth chart, and they want to get a good look at him to see what they have, I should say. And Moore is a guy. He's a big jump guy. He's a big body. He can kind of bump you out of the way. They say he's got a big butt, so he's like that kind of replacing the Benjamin kind of position where he can kind of push people out of the way in the end zone. So he's a really good weapon there. And you want to really look at the quarterback situation here is just really nothing that interests me for both sides. It's really going to be these young guys. I don't want any of the veterans, just not for me. So if I'm going to take anybody from these games, as I said, it's going to be Moore, Samuels are the two guys I'm really looking at here. And on the other side, it's Ballage if he plays. If not, it's going to be Perry.
Okay. All right. We got one last game on the slate, so we're going to go ahead and move over there. We've got the Arizona Cardinals visiting the New Orleans Saints. Total here is 41. The Saints -3.5 at home. Yeah. Rosie, I'm kicking it to you, man. What can you tell us about these teams?
All right, so we've seen it last year. The Saints aren't quite the team we were used to. They made a good move. They did this similar thing. Chargers did a similar thing. They started to bring in a defense, brought in some running backs. So these great quarterbacks didn't get caught up with Father Time and look like dog dirt. And I still think Drew Brees has it. But that offensive line, I got them ranked at number 5. They got 3 guys got injured last year on the offensive line. They're all coming back in good shape. Defense could look really, really solid. I mean, they looked good last year. I got them ranked at number 13th, and I think they could be a lot better this year. Their linebacking core is dog shit, but it could get better. We'll see. They're going to have to put up a little bit. Traquan Smith, Coleman got cut. Traquan Smith, I think I'm saying that right. He's trying to make it as the third receiver over there. The kid looked pretty good. They brought in Meredith. He's probably going to be the number 2 in the slot. And then obviously you got Kamara. I don't think you're going to see much of him tomorrow. Why would you? Ingram's suspended. So you're going to see Terrence West, Jonathan Williams, Shane Vereen, and there's probably a young guy, I can't remember his name offhand, fighting to get the 3rd spot and to help cover on the hard running in the first 4 games while he's out. Tyson Hill. I like Tyson Hill. I don't know about tomorrow, but that kid intrigues me. As for the Cardinals, it's been the theme all night, O-line. Actually, I think this O-line could surprise us and do half decent. We'll see. They could also be really, really big dog shit. You got some studs in Fitzgerald, who's old, but he still puts it up. Johnson could have a huge year this year. I don't know how much you're going to do it, but there's been some talk in the offseason of the Cards actually running a 2-back set. Like they brought in Coleman. Remember, he was the sweetheart from the preseason last year with Atlanta. I think that was him. He's going to be their fullback. But they're talking about starting Edmonds and Johnson in the backfield at the same time. Obviously, that's not going to happen for the whole 60 minutes, but it's something they're trying. Both quarterbacks are, they look for their checkdowns. They're throwing shorter passes. What's his name? Wear your helmet, kids. Don't drive your car into trees. You don't need concussions. You have to look stuff up like this.
Don't drive your car into trees?
Don't do it. Don't drive it into Sam Bradford. Come on, man. I'm forgetting him. He's easy to forget because he only ever plays half the season. I think Sam Bradford's decent. Not that the Cards could have an outside shot, but I don't see it, man. They could surprise us, but I'm definitely not sold on Josh Rosen. Like, if that's what they're working on, like, to get him through, maybe in time, but he's just not a big arm. But Johnson's going to have another hell of a good year because he's going to get tons of receptions. Who's the second receiver? Maybe J.J. Nelson, but who else do we got? We got Bryce Butler, Chaselin Kirk, whatever. The Kirk kid's not bad. I actually like him. What else? Do I got anything else for here? Oh, Sherman Batty, is that his name? And TJ Logan. That's a little bit in the depth of the running back. I actually like them. Batty did good last week, and Logan does have that big home run upside that he can break one. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Johnny. That's all I got for this. Right. I don't see much in this game tomorrow. I won't mess with it much at all.
Johnny?
Yeah, so for me, looking at the Cardinals like last week, Rosen just doesn't look good. He doesn't look ready. Bradford's the only shot the Arizona Cardinals have of doing anything this year. Yep. The problem with him is he just can't stay healthy. That's always his MO. I don't think they're going to press him too much tomorrow. I think they're going to play him a little bit, maybe a quarter at most. I don't think they're going to play DJ a lot again. They don't want him to get hurt. But I like Chase Edmonds here. I think they're going to use him. He's going to be the first guy off the bench. He's the number 2 guy on the back in their backfield depth chart. Really like him a lot. And then we have TJ Logan. I do like TJ Logan, but I like DJ Foster a little bit more. I followed him in college. I played him in college DFS all the time. Made me a lot of money. So I really like DJ Foster. He just hasn't had the best of luck. Last year he was with the Patriots and then got cut. He just can't kind of stick on a team, but he's a good player. He's just a little undersized. When it comes to receivers, I'm not really interested in any of the receivers that aren't rookies.
No.
The only receiver that I'm looking at is going to be Christian Kirk. This guy was a stud in college, very highly touted college guy, big playmaker. I like him a lot. And if you're looking for somebody like a flyer play, Greg Little's got a lot of talent too. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Christian Kirk would almost be a core play for me if the Kansas City Chiefs weren't on the slate. And on the other side here, the Saints, the guys you're looking at, I'm not looking at any starters. The only guys I would look at is going to be Traquan Smith. He had a pretty good first game. I like him. Keith Kerwood, he's decent. It's like a flyer play. And Jonathan Williams, I love this guy. This guy is going to replace Ingram. I don't know why they kept Ingram, but this guy's a really good running back. He can catch it. He can run it.
Ingram's a stud, bro.
Yeah, but they could have gotten something from him. You know what I mean?
No doubt. They should have made the trade on it. I agree. Yeah. I think they're worried that Kamara's going to get hurt. I think that's why they kept Ingram. I mean, the way he runs, the way he's built, I could see it happening. Ingram's their backup. Their insurance.
I mean, they got Jonathan Williams. I mean, they benched that guy last year. I mean, they had Adrian Peterson in the depth charts last year, for a while. That was a terrible experiment. But, yeah, Jonathan Williams, this guy's a stud. And the guy that's fighting for a job here that I think is firmly in play tomorrow, especially like in the fourth quarter, is going to be Boston Scott. This is the guy you want to look at, especially in week 5 if he's still there. This guy's going to get a lot of playing time. This might not be the right matchup today because he might not get enough playing time. But if he doesn't get cut, he's going to be a week 5 stud. So you might want to write that down for week 5. Other than that, there's really not a lot for me here. Other than that, I think we're good. We're good.
All right. That is going to do it for the game by game. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do so for Bros, I want you to give me one bold prediction for tomorrow.
One bold prediction for tomorrow.
It could be anything. It could be like such and such a score, whatever game scores. It could be a particular guy does well. Anything else. Just something that you don't think is maybe something bold.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think we're going to see a lot more running out of Detroit than we are. With Detroit, we're used to a big passing, lots of receivers running down. I think we're going to see a lot more running out of them. I don't think we're going to see a lot of passing. They're going to try to make that the theme for the year, but I don't see it happening. So that's my bold prediction tomorrow. Detroit handles the Giants and runs the ball a lot tomorrow.
Okay. Johnny, for you, I'm going to do something you're more familiar with. I'm going to ask you for your top threes. Okay. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to leave out the defenses. I want to know your top 3 quarterbacks. I want to know your top 3 receivers, and I want to know your top 3 running backs.
Okay. So I'm going to start with quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes. I'm just going to go ahead and lock him in as number 1. I like that. And then, I'm going to go and let's see. I'm going to go with looking at my notes here. Let's go with Tyrod Taylor. I'm going to go with Tyrod Taylor. And I am going to go with
Did we lose you?
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at notes here. I'm going to go with so I got Mahomes, Tyrod Taylor, and the last one is going to be Sam Bradford. Go there.
All right.
Running backs. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. He's just in too good of a spot that we know about right now. And the next guy I'm looking at is going to be Saquon Barkley from the Giants. I think he has a big game tomorrow. And the last guy is going to be let's go with Jonathan Williams. And when it comes to receiver, it's going to be Demarcus Robinson. I like him a lot. It's going to be we're going to go with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And Christian Kirk.
All right.
And at tight end,
Hey. I asked for receiver, running back, and
I'm sorry. Didn't know if you need tight end. Okay.
Tight ends there.
You see him
just play
stole a sandwich off the table. He's like, "Oh, I'm in trouble."
And just play Kelsey. And tight end, there's no 3. It's just Kelsey. Play Kelsey.
There you go.
Yeah, Kelsey all the way. That's a lock for sure.
Obviously, I know that you guys are you're still waiting on a lot of information. I know it's the night before. It's kind of tough in preseason. In NFL, you get information as you go. You have a week to prepare. You know who's playing. In the preseason, there is a lot of different things. Like the big edge in preseason is finding out the information. It's stalking the beat writers and all the blogs and finding any little bit of information you think you could find. It's the same thing with basketball. Everything is about snaps. Playing time in basketball, it's minutes. That's the name of the game in preseason, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me. I'm sure you guys will have a better picture tomorrow. Bros is gonna be around a little bit for us here, so I thought you did a great job, Bros, breaking down the games, man. Only gonna get more comfortable. I appreciate you joining us.
We'll get there.
And,
we'll get there. It's preseason.
It's preseason, baby. And then, of course, come by. We'll have some plays at wisetape.com. Check out our NFL, contents over there. I recommend you get the All Sports package. We do the baseball thing every day. We'll be doing the NBA thing every day. So don't waste time, guys. Come check us out, wisetape.com. By then, we will have an article form. The plays that we're ready to roll with, but obviously when it comes to preseason waiting out news and all that shit, the best is going to be our Slack chat. So make sure you check us out, wisetape.com. Get access to the Slack chat. You do have to have the monthly membership or higher. Week passes, day passes ain't going to do it. You're going to have a monthly membership or higher to get access to the Slack chat, and that's really where the shit goes down. We get an update. We have a feed where updates do come in through. We also have these guys readily available in the Slack chat if you guys have questions or you're trying to talk things out before lock. So definitely come check us out, man. We got a lot to offer. Anything in closing from you, bros?
Stay on those beat writers. That's the most important thing. We had a couple guys that just picked up preseason this year at the Wise Take. The one kid messaged me today, John Jerv, and he had 75% of the guys I did because he followed the method. Follow the beat writers. Do your homework. And wear your fucking helmets, kids. Oh, man, I said it again. So wear your helmets. You forget you can't say the F word. Wear your helmet. I'm telling you.
Johnny, anything closing from you?
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll have a much clearer picture. Week 2 is kind of tough, but my article will be out there with all of my picks for the day, and I'll have them all ranked for you to make it a little easier. If you're members, it's definitely worth it. I mean, preseason is some money in the bank, so this is a great time for you guys to stack up your bankroll for football.
There we go. All right. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the White Steak Nation. If you're watching us on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. If you're a fan of the nation, keep the nation going. We ask you to show a little bit of support. Whatever platform it is you watch or listen, it really means a lot to us when you show us some love. So do what you do, we do what we do, and we'll keep this thing rolling. For Johnny the Greek, for BroseBear, myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Ship it. Yeah.